So good morning, everyone. I welcome you all to this online sessions of BA Part 2 4th semester English Literature syllabus prescribed by Rashtrasant Tukaroji Maharaj, Nagpur University, Nagpur, in which we will be having a session on an essay by R.L. Stevenson, An Apology for Idlers. The resource person, these sessions are being conducted by 4 colleges in collaboration, that is Rajkumar Keval Ramani Kanya Mahavidyalaya, Vasantrao Naik Government Institute of Arts and Social Sciences, Jawaharlal Nehru Arts, Commerce and Science College, Wadi, and Rajiv Gandhi Mahavidyalaya, Sadak Arjuni. The resource person for the session is Dr. Mahendra Sahare. Sir, just a minute. Sir has the resource person for the session is Dr. Mahendra Sahare. Sir is working with Lok Mahavidyalaya Wardha as an assistant professor of English. He has certain things from academic and administrative point of view to his credit. He has been teaching since 2019, that is 2009, that is an experience of around 14 years. And he has worked in the various committees, conducted examination. He was coordinator for certificate course in spoken English, which was run under UGC career oriented program. He has worked as coordinator for remedial coaching classes at his college level, designed the syllabus for certificate course in communicative English, and was a coordinator of NAC steering committee for the years 2014 and 2019. At present, he is IQSC coordinator at his college, and he is working as a coordinator in the certificate course in communicative English, which is being run by the institute. Sir has presented a paper in National Interdisciplinary Seminar on Significance of Language and Social Science in the Age of Information Technology, something to which we are concentrating now in the post-COVID time. Sir has presented a paper on that in the year 2015 itself, and he has around 5 research papers to his credit in the peer-reviewed journals. So I welcome sir on behalf of the organizing institutes and hand over the mic to him for conducting the session. Over to you, Mahendra sir.
Thank you, sir, for my introduction. And here I thank you. I welcome all the dignitaries, conveners of this venture, which is for students, and with coordination and with the guidance of respected principals, Dr. Sujata Vyas ma'am, Principal Dr. Urmila Dabir ma'am, Principal Dr. Kalpana Borkar ma'am, and Dr. Anil Gaikwad sir. Under their convenience, organizing committee is working well, and I thank them and congratulate all the students, and congratulate also all the organizing secretaries and organizing committee. Today I am going to just deliver my lecture, we can say some explanation on this essay prescribed for students of BS second year English literature. An Apology for Idlers, R.L. Stevenson. Let's see the introduction of the author. We are all students of literature or all familiar with this essayist. He was born on 13th November 1850 in Scotland. He's a Scottish author. Brief but remarkable life. Because of his poor health, he traveled a lot. He traveled to different places for better climate, and he authored more than 40 books, novels, and collections of essays, poems, and adventure stories. He died of a stroke on December 3rd, 1890. Just he lived for 45 years. He is best known for his adventure tales, including Kidnapped, Black Arrow, The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Treasure Island, the famous children adventure stories. He spent last few years of his life as a planter and storyteller in Samoa in the Pacific Ocean. He was called the Tale Teller by locals on the island Samoa. He was equally admired by British readers for his writings about the art of craft of literature. We are now turning towards the summary of the text. An apology. This is one of the most interesting, and we say just when we see life, when we define life, what is life? Life is not for idlers. Generally, we say life is not for idlers. Idlers are waste. They waste their life. They waste resources. They even waste nation. They doom nation. It is generally assumption by most of the people. But here, this author in 19th century, he published this essay. First published in 1877, and later on it published in essay collection in 1881, and it is a thought-provoking. Means it tempts us to think over the matter, which is unusual. Generally, what motivational speakers speak that we should work continuously. We should take responsibilities, and we must plan and work on plan. And if we fail, then we don't have right to live the life of success. Then we are all behind planning our career, planning our life, and we are spending our time and working hard to achieve our targets. But this is where the author is taking us in a different way. He's asking us to think over the idleness. What is idleness? Idleness generally is not doing nothing, but it is doing something different, which is defined by other people. They are not just a mere waste here. In definition of R.L. Stevenson, की जो definition है, इसमें वो ये बात नहीं कर रहे कि idlers कुछ भी नहीं करते. They do, but they do in a free way, at their own choice. They define their career, their life in different way. They contribute in their own way to make this society better. What is that? And why he is asking for an apology? Why is supporting his argument for idlers? Dear students, if we see around us, if there is any boy, a student, a person who is doing nothing, is not taking his education, he is not working, he is not going to set up his career, advance for his career, then what will happen? Everyone will criticize him. Everyone will criticize him for his waste. Everyone will just abuse him, even from society and from his family. And then he feels guilty that he is of no use for anyone. And that is what he is asking for an apology. That's it. Sorry. Sir, थोडं 10-15 मिनिटं थांबा. Sorry. So they are away from diligence, career, continuity of life, and everything, and industry, and planning the career, planning their education. But here, R.S. Stevenson is asking for an apology. And what kind of apology? In interesting way, he is putting forth some ideas before us, some arguments, some deliberations supporting this point. What is saying? Idleness is as good as diligence. Whoever are working hard, even great people, those people are working hard to sustain this life, to sustain society, to develop society, to for social cause, for any other. There are many causes to which people had devoted their life. But here he underscores, he opposes the modern ideas of working hard, reading books, taking education in schools and colleges in this essay. He says that education in the streets is better than education in the classrooms. Education in streets is better than education in classrooms. How? Everyone is asking us to join school, college, take good education, plan career, and go for achievement. But here he says that education in streets, education in general life is better education than education in classroom. How? If we see the lives of people who are great, who achieve greatness in their lives, if we see Einstein, if we see the life of Newton used to watch out of window how an apple is falling down from the tree. He is observing and he discovered the law of gravitational force. Even Einstein, even we can say Dhirubhai Ambani and other people, they had an average education and no education even to some people, but they could achieve, they could write their name in history. They made history. They changed the lives of millions and billions of people. They changed the course of history even. And why? Hadn't they take education? They took education. They learned a lot of things, but from life experiences, but from nature. Stevenson does not believe that books are indispensable. He says that he was a voracious reader. If we look at his life, what we see, आपल्याला काय दिसते? तर he was a voracious reader. He read a lot. But in his principles, in his writing, he is telling us that books are not essential for gaining knowledge, for obtaining knowledge. Then essay starts with the conversation between Boswell and Samuel Johnson. Samuel Johnson and Boswell, they were contemporaries. They were intellectuals of that period. And that argument conversation occurred on 26th October 1769 in London. And Stevenson misquotes Boswell to Johnson's response. They had a conversation, and Johnson had provided him response to his question that, but if we are all idle, there would be no growing weary. We should all entertain one another. If there are idleness everywhere, no one will get bored. No one will get weary. Everyone will entertain one another because people will not be engaged in their occupations, in their duties. They will be free and they will entertain one another, and there will be no weary, there will be no getting bored. That is what Johnson responded to Boswell. Stevenson argues his point of view how idleness can be beneficial and educational as opposed to what others assume. Idleness can be beneficial and educational also as opposed to what others assume. What others assume? Others assume that idleness is a waste, it is not beneficial. If we say something that idleness is beneficial and it is also educational, we can learn from idleness. What will happen? People will say that this is a foolish statement. But here he argues that idleness is beneficial also, and it is educational. Idleness does not consist in doing nothing, but in doing great deal not recognized by modern worldly ideas. Modern worldly ideas, what I earlier shared with you, that motivational speakers and other worldly wise people, elders speak that we should have perseverance, dedication towards our target, towards our achievement, and we should achieve success. And there are success stories of industry, education, and all in all. But here says that idleness does not consist in doing nothing, but in doing a great deal not recognized by modern worldly ideas. Modern worldly ideas does not recognize the things achieved by, the benefits obtained by being idle. हम खाली पीली होते हैं तो उसके भी कुछ बेनिफिट्स है, ये मॉडर्न सोसाइटी कभी रिकॉग्नाइज नहीं करती. एंड दैट इज व्हाई इट हैज इस right to state its position as industry itself. As industry has something to do, something to contribute, as recognized by the modern society जैसे रिकॉग्नाइज करती है कि हम अच्छा परिश्रम करते हैं, मेहनत करते हैं तो कुछ अचीव करेंगे, खुद के लिए भी अचीव करेंगे, सोसाइटी के लिए भी, देश के लिए भी. लेकिन अगर कोई कहता है कि आइडलनेस अगर कोई कुछ कंट्रीब्यूट करता है तो सब लोग कंफ्यूज हो जाएंगे, बोलेंगे कि ये कौन सी आइडिया है. And that is what Stevenson argues here. That books are good enough in their own way, but they are mighty bloodless substitute for life. They are good in their own way. He does not totally deny the importance of books in our lives, but he says that they are mighty bloodless substitute for life. They are not substitute for life. Life is more than books. Life is more than education. Life is more than any other thing. And it provides us lessons to learn practical knowledge of life. He argues that books can never be substitute for life. Most of the great men, including Charles Dickens, Shakespeare, Balzac, learned lessons from the streets. If we see the lives of these great authors, Charles Dickens, Shakespeare, and Balzac, French author, we will learn that they had not much formal education. They were not a voracious reader, but they learned their lessons from life, from streets. From streets means practical life. They enjoyed nature, the flow of rivers, the waves of seas, the blue sky, the meadows and hills, valleys give the man more wisdom than what he gets in the classroom. In our classroom, we get just a limited knowledge, theoretical knowledge. But if we go to the nature, we learn a lot from the flow of rivers, waves of seas, blue sky, the meadows, the hills, valleys, and many more things. We get wisdom. We learn wisdom from them than classroom learning. Here, R.L. Stevenson states the point that life is a teacher, good teacher. It teaches us good things. Then nature is better source of knowledge than school. Again, he states his point that parents and elders usually advise young men to study with diligence to obtain knowledge. If we get more knowledge, if we acquire more knowledge, then we will be powerful. Knowledge is power. And the teachers and parents and other elders also advise us from time to time. Study books, read books, become voracious reader. You would obtain knowledge. But R.S. Stevenson says that worldly wise man. Who is worldly wise man? Worldly wise man is a character, is a literary character from Pilgrim's Progress by John Bunyan. And he is a representative of worldly thinking. Worldly thinking, what is worldly life? And angry with a young truant because he runs away from the classroom to enjoy nature. Young truant, usually we see around us, they run away from school. They run away from school and they enjoy they love to spend their time with nature. Around nature. They love to spend their time beside river, beside pond, under the tree, and everywhere. They run away from the school. And worldly wise man is angry with them. Worldly wise man means any wise man who is around us, any successful person in terms of modern society. In definition of modern society, who consider that this fellow has achieved his materialistic achievement, material achievement. He is successful in his life, and this fellow considers that truant is wasting his time, wasting his life in a company of nature. He is angry with him. The young man tells wise man that he wants peace and contentment. Young man tells young truant who runs away from school, जो स्कूल से भाग जाता है, वो बच्चा बताता है कि I want peace and contentment, and he finds peace and contentment in company of nature. The wise man is angry with him and asks him to go back to school. But what will happen to the truant? He will be advised by a wise man to go to school and learn books, get knowledge, obtain knowledge. But R.L. Stevenson supports the truant. The author says that knowledge can be obtained from the streets and nature too. R.L. Stevenson is finding an apology. He's supporting the idlers. He's supporting idlers. And he supports the truant, who is also a person, one type of idler. He's also one type of idler, and he supports him. He says that it is not necessary to go to school and study books to get a knowledge. to get a contentment. He says that knowledge can be obtained from streets, from life around us, and from nature too. This knowledge is better than that of the school or college. And he says that, R.S. Stevenson says that this knowledge is better than, this knowledge is more practical, more relevant than that of school or college. A truant is wandering along with open places because nature is an open book. Nature is an open book and it is open for everyone. And it is always available at all time. It is full of knowledge and wisdom. If we want to learn from lessons from nature, it is full of knowledge and wisdom. If we want to learn what is democracy, what is justice, what is equality, all these principles can be learned from nature. Nature does not just distinguish between people, between strong and weaker. It provides equally all its facilities to everyone, water, air, and everything, sunlight, everything. We can learn all those things from nature. It is full of knowledge and wisdom. One can obtain wisdom by enjoying beauty of nature. The sweet songs of birds, the rustle of leaves, the murmuring sound of flowing river and breeze can give you food for thought. All these natural entities, natural phenomena can give one a food for thought. Food for thought means knowledge. Saint-Beuve, the great French writer, said that experience of life is a single great book. Experience of life is a single great book. Stevenson himself was a voracious reader and he loved books, but books are not a proper substitute of life. According to Stevenson, he experienced that books are not sufficient to make one wise, to make one happy. These are not a proper substitute of life. If a young man completely depends on a book for knowledge, he is as full as Lady of Shalott in Stevenson's famous poem. If he depends on books for knowledge, if you want knowledge, you go to books, study books diligently. What will happen? You would get only theoretical knowledge. You would hold books only. Only the shadow of reality. What was learned by Lady of Shalott. She was a beautiful lady under a curse. She viewed a wave day and night looking at the mirror. She spent days and night weaving, looking at the mirror. She could see only the reflection of the reality, reflection of herself, reflection of reality. If we turn to our books for knowledge and it has no links, it has no relevance to the reality in life, reality in society, these theories are mere reflections, are mere shadows of the reality. And with these shadows, we cannot obtain knowledge. We cannot innovate. We cannot discover new ideas, new realities which are happening in the society. She cannot see the real life. Likewise, the person who is dependent on the books, dependent on the school education only, he just experiencing the reflection of the reality which is around us. He cannot see the real life. And that is why our generations, our young generations are fumbling with the reality. They find the idealistic life in books, but they are not able to cope up with the reality, cope up with the practicality of the life around them, beyond books. Similarly, bookworm or an industrious man is also like a lady of shallow, and he can never enjoy life that is full of experience and beauty of nature. Like a lady of shallow cannot experience life around her. She cannot experience nature, natural phenomena. And likewise, a bookworm or industrious man who is devoted single-mindedly towards his target, towards his plan to be achieved, he would not be able to take an experience of life, beauty of nature, and there he would remain handicapped. Now he supports the idlers, how they help others and make happy. R.L. Stevenson next says that busy people are not efficient in vitality. If we see busy people, if we take an example or anecdote from a famous movie. Famous movie means what? Three Idiots. Everyone might have watched that movie. There is a teacher, and there was student, Mr. Sahasrabuddhe, a teacher, and there was student who was just believing in mugging up the knowledge from books, bookworm, industrious man. And that teacher was just devoted towards knowledge and definitions and everything. And he had no other life. He had no other reality to be seen, to be observed, to be understood. And he is efficient in vitality. There was no vitality in his. Idleness helps man to develop a strong individuality, and he is a very sociable and takes interest in mankind. And take another example from the same movie, that is the protagonist, the hero of the heroic character, that is Rancho. He was a kind of person, or he would be defined as idle, not studying harder. He was just he wants to suggest also that we should look towards life, understand things from life, and then we will be able to just make something new. And there is a strong individuality in his character. Wherever he went, he made others happy, helped others. He lived his life joyfully and made others to live joyfully. And the people who are industrious, who are devoted towards the target, they are efficient. They lack in vitality. They lack in spirit. And idleness helps man to develop a strong individuality. He is very sociable. He intermixes with society and takes interest in mankind. He is a man of great experience in life, and he knows how to make others happy. And these people make others happy. He has practical wisdom and can solve problems of life with a smiling face. Just like the principal of that college, principal of that institution, Mr. Sahasrabuddhe, he lacked vitality. He lacked practical wisdom. He lacked problem-solving attitude. You can remember the last scene of the climax of the movie. Everyone was confused with the situation arose at that time. But these people who were idle, we can consider them, or three idiots, they were finding the problem. They were the troubleshooters. They found the solution on the problem. But these people who were just learning things, just bookish people, they were just living life as industrious people, as bookworms, as people with success attitude. These people could not find solution on the issue, on the problem, and they will help to each other. These are the benefits of idleness. here R.L. Stevenson wants to make us pursue. He says that there is individuality, these people are sociable, they take interest in other people's matters, interest in mankind, and they have great experience in life and they make others happy also. And idlers have practical wisdom and they can solve problems of life with a smiling face. On the other hand, man of industry is a selfish and narrow-minded. He does not look beyond his own interest. He says that I'm working hard to achieve my target. I'm just consuming my life to achieve my target. Then what happens? He becomes much self-centered. He does not just spare his time to take care of others, to involve in the grief and happiness of other people. They are too selfish. Look at the example of that is another character who was bookish. He was called Silencer. That is, he was too selfish. He wanted to top the examination, and that is why he wanted to make others involved in diversion. And he wanted to be top anyhow. And they are narrow-minded. They are not helpful to others. He has no curiosity and he is very dull. He has no curiosity to learn new things. In school or college, these people had set their eyes on medals, and after leaving their college, they think of only themselves. Once again, this example of that character from 3 Idiot. They set their eyes on medals. They set their eyes on medals to get that medal, obtain that medal in the examination. And in that way, in this regard, they work for those medals only. And after leaving the college, they work for themselves. They think of themselves. I have achieved that position. I am earning like that. And look, in that movie, he was only talking of himself. How much, to what extent he is successful, and how others are not successful. He is pursuing reality in his own way. He thinks of himself. And after a long period of hard work, they are very tired. We can see there might be people who are working in IT industry. You might have heard the discourse, heard some conversation about them that they are busy in their projects, in their job, to such an extent that they get tired at the age of 45. After 45, they are not able to do much work for themselves also, because they suck their vitality to the beyond their capacity. And after a long period of hard work, they are not able to do their work with efficiency. On the other hand, idler is energetic and happy. On the other hand, what happens? They are dull, narrow-minded, and they have lack of vitality. But idler people are energetic and happy. And so, as they are energetic and happy, they transfer that happiness and energy to people around them. They make others happy. Stevenson says that this is not an achievement in life. And he says that this is not an achievement in life. Like, what achievement? That targeting and achieving target and just making other people's bored, just making our life bored and unhappy. This is not a target of life. What is target of life? Being happy, peaceful, content, and making others happy and peaceful. R.H. Stevenson says that many people complain that idlers don't do any work, and it is a national waste. Many people, most of us, even I think also presently that idlers, they don't do any work. They have nothing substantial to do and contribute, and it is a national waste. But R.A. Stevenson says that this is not true. Society is full of young men and women, and they can do every work. There are a lot of people in society who are doing their work. Even if man dies, another man does his work. If any man dies of any status and position, किसी भी पोजीशन और स्टेटस का इंसान या पोजीशन का व्यक्ति अगर अनफॉर्चुनेटली चला जाता है, तो his position is replaced by another man. किसी के साथ किसी का काम रुकता नहीं, कोई भी व्यक्ति हो, and that is the, and nothing is to be lost with the person who is of status and position. Even if he dies, another man does his work. There is substitute for him. In the 15th century, when people told Joan of Arc was a great patriot of France, great leader and patriot of France. She fought battles when France was under occupancy of England. There was there were very lesser part of France remained under the occupancy of France, and most of the land was just occupied by British army. She fought for, even at that time in the 15th century, women were not allowed to fight, to take part in army. Even nowadays in 21st century, we are also witness of this idea that women, till now, women were not allowed to participate in army, to take part in army. At that time, Joan of Arc led the French army, and she fought wars and saved her country. But unfortunately, she was condemned to death. She was punished to death because she was punished for heresy. The great French heroine that she should work at home washing and spinning. When she proposed, she put a proposal of leading an army. She was not allowed. She was said that she was asked to work at home. This is not a business of women. This is not a business of females fighting battles. She should work at home, washing and spinning, rearing children. But she said that there are plenty of women at home who can do such a work, but there is none who can lead the army and fetch victory for her country. There is none of woman. There are many women who are dedicating their lives home washing and spinning, but there is none who can lead country, who can lead army and bring victory and respect for her countrymen. And she was offered an opportunity. Joan of Arc was a young when she became a soldier and fought wars and won victories for France. She was very young. Her कमी वयाची होती. She became a soldier. Led army, and she fought wars for her country. And she won victories for France. And she liberated her country from the enemy. She is the great patriot of France. And she said that there are other women who can take her position for washing and spinning at home, means doing household responsibilities. Now, idleness. What is the role of idlers? Idlers are jolly people who make others happy. These are enthusiastic and they have vitality. They transfer their vitality, energy to other people, make other people happy. They are sociable. They are individualistic. And R.A. Stevenson here wants to bring his point home by proposing an example from literature. That is the character of Falstaff and Barabbas. Falstaff is a character from Shakespeare's drama, Merry Wives of Windsor and Henry IV. He is preferable to Barabbas. Barabbas is a character from Marlowe, Christopher Marlowe, a dramatist, Shakespeare's contemporary dramatist who was greedy person and Falstaff was a jolly person. He was honest, but he was a drunkard. Falstaff is not honest and a drunkard. He is not very honest and drunkard. He was not very honest. And he was a drunkard. Yet all people love this Shakespearean character, Falstaff, because he makes audience laugh and they enjoy his presence on the stage. Falstaff, which is the character from Shakespeare's drama, The Merry Wives of Windsor, and historical drama, Henry IV. He is not very honest and he is a drunkard. But people love this character on the stage, Shakespearean character, because he made others happy, made audience laugh and enjoy his presence on the stage. We can't forget our sorrow and pain when we see Falstaff on the stage merrymaking. When we see Falstaff, this character on the stage, we forget, the audience forget all their worries, sorrows, and pain when they witness Falstaff on the stage merrymaking. On the other hand, Barabbas is a character in Marlowe's play, The Jew of Malta. Jew of Malta is Marlowe's ड्रामा, क्रिस्टोफर मार्लोस ड्रामा, ज्यू ऑफ माल्टा क्रिस्टोफर मार्लो का ड्रामा है. इसमें से ये बारबस कैरेक्टर है. The Jew was greedy for money. He is a Jew character, and he was greedy for money and did not help anyone even with a smile. And he was not ready to help. He did not help. He was greedy for money. He lived selfishly, and that is why no one liked him on the stage. People will not remember him, just like character of Merchant of Venice in Merchant of Venice, that is Shylock in Merchant of Venice, Shakespeare's drama. Pleasure are more beneficial than duties. R.A. Stevenson says that idler can give more pleasure than a busy, industrious man. Idler can give more pleasure than a busy, industrious man, because the mind of busy man is full of plans and works to be done. He is always, if we see the character from that principal Sahasrabuddhe from 3 Idiots, will you get any kind of feeling of pleasure after watching that character? After remembering that character? No. But if we see the character of Rancho and his friends, what we see? We feel pleased. Idlers can give more pleasure than a busy, industrious man, because his mind is always busy with plans and plans to be carried out, works to be done. It does not heed to others. Excuse me. He does not pay attention to people around him. Pleasures are more beneficial than duty, because excuse me, pleasures are more beneficial than duties. Duties are also essential, But over obsession with the duties, over obsession with the plans, it does not give us pleasure, because pleasure is natural and duty comes from the course of responsibility. And that is why Stevenson says that idlers does not give pleasure to any other people than busy industrious man, because busy industrious man is busy with his plans and plans to be carried out. Pleasures are more beneficial than duties because pleasure is natural. Pleasures are more beneficial because pleasures are natural, and duty comes from force or responsibility. That is why duty is not a pleasure giving. Duty is not a pleasure giving because it comes from force. But pleasure is natural. It comes easily, spontaneously. Secondly, pleasures give happiness to both the giver and receiver. If we enter into the room where the people are seriously discussing something, or silently, seriously brooding over, thinking of their plans, thinking of their duties. They are serious. Everyone is busy in their work. Will you find pleasure there? Will you find happiness? No. But if we enter in another room where people are enjoying jokes, laughing, and sharing, we will find their pleasure. And that is why pleasure gives a happiness both to the giver and receiver. If we give pleasure to others, receiver is also happy and we are also happy. So the author says that an idler is wiser than an industrious man. And that is why idler is wiser, because he gives pleasure than an industrious man. Stevenson says that an idler makes others happy with his smiling face and kind words. The presence of such a people at dinner or meeting in the streets makes everyone happy. Excuse me. Sorry, my throat is quite disturbed. There is disturbance. The presence of such a people at a dinner party or meeting makes everyone happy. Next, last, society. How the society is important, not an individual man, even though he is great. Finally, Stevenson points out that nature does not care for the single individual. The life of a single individual. Society does not, nature does not care for a single individual, life of a single individual. Earlier, I explained the law of substitute. Any person who is of the position and status, and if he is replaced, he is to be replaced by another person. And that is why nature or society does not care for a single individual. No one is so important in the society. R.S. Stevenson says that. No single individual is so important in the society. Even if the greatest dramatist, greatest literary person, greatest dramatist of the world, Shakespeare had never lived in the world, would not have been different. Shakespeare would not have been in the world different. Even though Shakespeare had never lived in this life, had never been in world, the world would not have been different. World would be as it is. अगर शेक्सपियर भी नहीं रहा होता, शेक्सपियर अगर इस दुनिया में नहीं होता, तो लाइफ तो जो दुनिया है, दुनिया तो वैसे ही रही होती ना, उससे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ा होता. There are millions and millions of people in the world. There are millions and millions of people in the world. Everyone wants a smiling face and kind words from others. No one cares for any person who is such an industrious. Even he may be industrious or he may be person of status and position. Everyone wants smiling face and kind words from others. And no one bother about the people who are serious, people who are selfish, self-centered, devoted towards their success or career. And that is what Stevenson asked for an apology. He is supporting the point of view of idlers, how idlers are beneficial, how idlers are pleasure giving, how idlers are sociable, how they contribute in their own way, and how the life of people who are devoted to their targets, their plans, and the people who are industrious and who are devoted for obtaining knowledge, and their life is important in their own way, but for their own sake. But for their own sake, they cannot make others happy. They cannot transfer energy, vitality to the others, and that is what the important point of view is posed here, deliberated here, presented here in this essay by R.L. Stevenson. Hope this explanation is helpful to you understand the lesson, the points in this essay. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Mahendra, sir.
Hello, sir. Yes, sir. Sir,
Yeah. Okay.
I think there are no students before us.
No, there are no students. Yeah. We have shared
There cannot be
easy study material with them.
Yeah.
Isn't it? This will be a part of that publication.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, I thank you for offering me an opportunity, and thank you all the organizers.
Well, that was the responsibility we have we allotted to you, isn't it?
I doubt whether I could reach to the students.
So, on behalf of the organizers and on behalf of my my counterparts present here, Dr. Leena Fate and Madam Archana Deshmukh, Dr. Archana Deshmukh, and on behalf of all the collaborating colleges and the students to whom this will be beneficial, I thank Sir Dr. Mahendra Sahare for sparing his hours for this session, and hope same kind of cooperation from him in the coming semesters as well. That is the 5th and 6th semester. So thank you all, and I declare for the day is over. Yeah, Mahendra, yeah, you want to say something?
No, sir. Thank you. Thank you for offering me an opportunity. Thank you all the organizers and Archana Deshmukh ma'am, Dr. Leena Fate ma'am. And
Madam Deshmukh is also there.
Entire team
Yeah,
for taking such a fruitful efforts for students community.
Okay, then we shall stop here.